Good afternoon. Please remain standing for the invocation by Brother William Boslett, OSF, class of 1970, St. Francis College trustee and Franciscan advisor to the college.
Loving God and source of all life, we are gathered here this afternoon to celebrate, to congratulate, and to give thanks. We ask you to bless each of us and the many friendships that sustain us. Dear God, please bless the graduates of the class of 2018 in a special way. We thank them for the gifts which they are and have been to St. Francis College. For each of you, for your families and friends, we pray in the words of St. Francis, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. Amen.
Please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem, our cantor Ginna Donnelly and our choir director Michael Kaminsky. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the first graduating class of 2018 of St. Francis College. It is my privilege to welcome you all today, graduates, family, friends, our new president, Dr. Miguel Martinez-Saenz, Chairman John Tully, members of the St. Francis College community, faculty, staff, and administration. Looking at the wrong thing, but that was pretty good as a start, right? I'd like to thank Father Brian Jordan for celebrating today's Mass, Father William Smith and the people of the parish of St. Charles Borromeo for allowing us to use their beautiful church for today's events. I'd also like to thank our cantor, Ginna Donnelly, and of course, Dr. Michael Kaminsky for their contributions to this afternoon's ceremonies. There is no better way to start the new year than by celebrating the graduation of the newest class of St. Francis College students. And this year we have a lot to celebrate, including the first commencement attended by our new president, Dr. Martinez-Saenz. Beginning tomorrow, we'll be hosting a series of events leading up to his formal inauguration, but today is for you, the students. Here now to welcome you in this final stage of your time at St. Francis, a man who is just beginning his first stage. Please welcome President Miguel Martinez-Saenz.
They told me not to leave this podium. Some of you know I may be carried away. Jennifer, I can't find my script. I don't have a script. So I just want to share a couple of things. So first, to the families that are here supporting the graduates, thank you very much. And I hope the graduates understand and the sacrifice that many of them have made for you. And I am hopeful that in the coming days you will thank them and show gratitude. There's a moment that says that you show gratitude when you get something that's undeserved and unexpected. And I will assure you what you have been granted is both undeserved and unexpected. And for that you should show some significant gratitude to all those that supported you. So thank you on their behalf from me. Since we're in a vehicle, we're going to preach a little bit, although I'm not supposed to, but I want to share with you one story, and I just want to orient you with one thing. Dr. Horlick's going to take center stage, so I won't actually give you an address. But it's a parable. It's a parable that Martin Luther King Jr. referred to on April 3, 1968 in Mason Temple when he was in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a speech that he gave that came to be known as I See the Promised Land. And in that speech, he talked about the Good Samaritan. And he referred to Martin Buber, one of the great Jewish thinkers. And he said this: there was no question on that road from Jericho that the man that was lying by the side of the road was hurt. But when the priest came by and noticed the man hurt, he asked himself a question: if I stop to help this man, what will happen to me? When the Levite walked by, again he asked himself a question. And the same question was asked: if I stop to help this man, what will happen to me? The Samaritan asked a fundamentally different question. This is a question I want you to reflect on. The Samaritan said, if I do not stop to help this man, what will happen to him? The orientation to the other is fundamental. I will tell you there's joy, great joy in service. And I hope that you think deeply about that when you behave. Through this process of maturation, the hope is that we will move from the 2-year-old that says me, to one that talks about us and community. You have an opportunity, a significant one. You've been given great privilege. And that privilege, I would say, comes responsibility. And so I hope you exercise that responsibility to make the world just a little bit better than when you arrive. In this sense, I would tell you, we talk about heroes a lot. We talk about heroes feeding people. I would tell you that the real heroes are the ones that fight to create a system where we don't need people to feed people, where all people are fed. And you have the opportunity to do that. Your generation has an opportunity, given the resources that we currently have, to create conditions. All of our children, and all human beings have the opportunity to thrive. So I congratulate you. And in that congratulation, I also urge you to take your responsibility seriously. Go forward and make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As many of you know, we have a world-class accounting program here at St. Francis College. Every semester, our graduates are offered accounting positions, really good ones, at Big Four accounting firms like PricewaterhouseCoopers and Ernst Young, mid and small-sized firms, Fortune 500 companies, and government agencies. And when we ask ourselves why that might be, one name comes to mind, and that name is Dr. Jeffrey Horlick. One of the reasons for the long history of success that the accounting program has had here at St. Francis College is because of him. Dr. Horlick began his career at St. Francis College 35 years ago. As a member of the American Accounting Association, American Institute of CPAs, and New York State Society of CPAs, Dr. Horlick has published in Business Horizons and the Federal Accountant. He served as author and editor of the Kaplan CPA course for 10 years and engaged in business consulting with many firms, including Citicorp, Coopers & Lybrand, Theater Now, Ensemble Studio Theater, and many more. Most significantly, Dr. Horlick has dedicated, I'll say it again, more than 35 years to St. Francis College, and thousands of students who have come through their doors. He has mentored them. Early on, he set high standards for those students and for us faculty, and year after year, the students have proven that they are up to the challenge. I ask you to think about his legacy as you embark on your own personal journeys. What can you do to have such an impact on the lives of others? It is my privilege as the academic dean and as a faculty member who has valued his wisdom and vision, it is in fact my honor to now welcome for your commencement address, Dr. Jeffrey Horlick.
Thank you. I know I have several of my students sitting right in front of me. But thank you all, and greetings to our new president, Dr. Miguel Martinez Saenz, Chairman John Tully, Provost and Academic Dean Jennifer Lancaster, the Franciscan Brothers of Brooklyn, and members of the St. Francis College community, graduates, of course, and friends and family of the class of 2018. Congratulations to all the graduates. You have made it through the college, the small college of big dreams. You have worked hard and achieved a goal you have had in your sights for many years. But there are many in the audience, parents, siblings, friends, and other family members who have supported you, both financially and emotionally. They have also had their sights on this milestone for many years. And so let's offer a big thank you to them and congratulations to them too. Thank you to all the friends and family. I'm sure each of you knows who they are. For those who don't know me, although that was a lovely introduction, I've been a professor of accounting since 1980, which actually makes it 38 years that I've been here. And I'm completing my 50th year as a college professor. I was lucky enough to start my teaching career at the University of Maryland at the ripe old age of 22, where I was a full-time instructor and a part-time doctoral student. I can still remember when early in my career, a student came to see me during the first semester that I was teaching, actually came up right after class, and said, "Mr. Horlick, I have a question." And I turned my back and said, "Is my father behind me?" No one had ever called me Mr. Horlick before. I didn't know who they were talking. I could have sworn he must have been standing right behind me. But he was not. And I was just this young guy from Brooklyn, young and inexperienced, and I had never been called Mr. Horlick before. Like many of you, I am a New York City kid. Well, I guess I can't exactly call myself a kid anymore, but I was born and raised in Brooklyn, East Flatbush and Canarsie. Some of my students, I know, I talked to them about Canarsie, where my focus, of course, as all of you, was my family, my friends, my school. College years went by quickly. The focus is on classes, 1 year at a time. All of a sudden, it seems, you're a college graduate. Now what? From a narrow, focused existence with concerns about assignments, papers, projects, and exams, you are now a citizen of the world. Every generation faces its own issues, world events, which seem somewhat distant while you are engaged in college coursework. You have a focus. Now all of this becomes too real. For my parents and those of their generation, The struggle was the Great Depression of the 1930s and World War II. As a graduate student in the late 1960s, I witnessed fast-moving changes: black liberation, women's liberation, gay liberation, marches on Washington. In fact, I had recently moved to the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area when I took my position at the University of Maryland, and my friends would crash in my apartment, sleep on the floors, whatever, for the war protests and the marches that were taking place in Washington. The killing of students at Kent State University caused campuses across the country to erupt in protests, violence, anger, bewilderment. Many of us were forced to become engaged, forced to take a stand. And now here you are, graduating from college, becoming citizens of the world at a time of national conflict and instability. The liberation movements that received our attention 50 years ago are still evolving. With the Me Too movement, marriage equality, and Black Lives Matter, the change is often slow, but each generation moves it forward. It is hard to be complacent. We are living in a deeply politically polarized country. We all have to pay attention, always questioning, reading the news, listening to the radio, television. Sometimes it seems on a daily basis we are bombarded with news and events which cause us to question the values we were taught to cherish and take pride in. Things we took for granted: freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, right of assembly, civil disobedience. In fact, this weekend again, a number of protests are planned. Is climate change a myth? Did Russia have an effect on the 2016 presidential election? I want a president who is concerned enough, no, more accurately, outraged enough about the possibility of a foreign country's involvement in this country's election process. I want the leadership to support and embrace a full investigation. I want a president who is appalled by those states that arrange election districts through gerrymandering to manipulate election results, or states that create voter restrictions that result in voter suppression. Instead, a commission was formed to investigate voter fraud. After all, how could the Democratic nominee get 3 million more votes? Must have been fraud. Well, that commission was recently terminated because they didn't find that there was any substantial voter fraud. So what does a newly minted college graduate do? Well, first and foremost, vote. We must stay informed. Now more than ever, we cannot take the vote for granted. We live in a participatory democracy. Votes matter. Protests do cause change. I know it seems the change is slow, and sometimes it is, but it happens. When I first started teaching in the 1960s, there were only a few women in my classes and very few men or women of color. Now, my classes are filled with a much more diverse group of students. You are also lucky to have attended St. Francis College during the past decade. What a difference, where the students are as diverse as the borough of Brooklyn itself. A great melting pot. I know you all benefit from the diversity because I've seen the friendships that are formed as I watch the students grow. It is so gratifying to see students from all backgrounds getting jobs, as Dean Lancaster just said, at the biggest accounting firms in the world, getting jobs in small local firms, regional firms. And what about the students employed by big companies like Goldman Sachs, National Grid, JP Morgan Chase, ABC, CBS, Beth Israel Hospital, Mount Sinai Hospital, not-for-profit organizations, government agencies, and so many more. The list goes on, and the opportunities are there. By the way, for those graduates who don't have a job lined up, be sure to pay a visit to the Career Placement Center to seek assistance. Recently, there was an article in the New York Times which indicated that St. Francis College ranked high in overall economic mobility. Out of almost 600 selective private colleges, students from St. Francis College were offered the 19th best chance for a poor student to become a rich adult. The Equality of Opportunity Project found that a student coming from the bottom fifth of incomes had an almost 50% chance to reach the top fifth of incomes as an adult. In addition, the article states that St. Francis College ranked 13th out of 578 selective private colleges in their overall mobility index, which represents the likelihood that a student at St. Francis College moved up 2 or more income quintiles. Well, naturally, the opportunities are especially good for the students who took their studies seriously and worked hard to attain good grades, but more importantly, who worked hard to attain knowledge and acquire certain skills and abilities, who not only worked to obtain a college degree, but who worked hard to master a subject, to excel at something that an employer would value. Since I have been an educator for 50 years, I've noticed that for a good number of students, there is a willingness to accept less over the course of a semester. Instead of being angry and feeling shortchanged when a class is canceled, or when a professor ends class early, or when there's a snow day, many students give a thumbs up. Education seems to be one of the few things that consumers pay for, but where receiving less is acceptable. When you're at a restaurant and you ordered a 4-course meal, when the waiter comes over and offers you dessert and you might be full, I bet most of you would say, oh, bring it on, I'll pick at it, right? Even though I paid for it, so I might as well do that. But when it comes to education, that's not what happens. In all the years I have been teaching, I've had only one student who, after several snowstorms, there were several evening classes that were canceled, and this student wanted to attend my day classes so as not to miss anything, because she felt there was material I was covering in the day class that I didn't have time to cover in the evening class. Another student told me he had never been as academically challenged as he had been in my class, and that it was the first time he knew he was capable of meeting the challenge. No one ever pushed him that hard. He didn't really know how much talent he had. So for all those students here who always thought I was being too tough, you have this former student to thank you for that challenge. As a number of you move on to graduate school or job training or internships, try to make the most of your time. Put in the effort to excel at what you do and pay attention to the small things too. Make sure you proofread your email messages before sending them. Make sure there are no grammatical or spelling errors. When your devices finish spelling words for you, make sure those are the words you intended. I'm sure all of us have been embarrassed by some unintended messages, only realized just as you hit the send button, and you go, oh gee. So what will you experience in your lifetimes? My grandparents worried that their children, my parents, spent too much time listening to that new contraption, the radio. They weren't doing enough reading. My parents worried about us watching too much television. And now your parents can't get you to let go of your cell phones. Can you imagine that only a couple of decades ago there was no computers, there were no cell phones, no internet? How did we ever manage? What will you experience? You will experience many new inventions and new ways of life. Are you ready for self-driving cars? Whatever it is, my hope is that you live a fulfilled life with more happiness than sadness and with a good work-life balance. To quote from author Annie Proulx at this year's National Book Award ceremony, we still have strong feelings for such outmoded notions as truth, respect for others, personal honor, justice, and equitable sharing. Speaking of sharing, many of you have received financial aid. So please don't forget to help those students who follow you. Start giving early. Get into the habit of helping future students. even if it's only $10 a month. As you earn more, pick it up to $20 a month. Move it up a notch as you're able to. You will hardly notice it. It's only a couple of cups of coffee a month, right? $10 to start with. But it'll make a big difference to those students who could not attend college otherwise, were it not for your contribution. So, graduates of 2018, congratulations once again. We're all proud of you, and good luck to each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Horlick. I hope that you were inspired by those words and you'll remember at least a little bit of that as you continue on your journeys. Let no border be a barrier to your excellence. Let no language stop you from reaching your dream. When this year's Winter Valedictorian came to the United States, she had just finished high school in a small Eastern European country of Albania. As she grew and matured there, the country's newly formed democratic government also grew, realizing a freedom and openness. That is the reason she was able to come to St. Francis and to flourish. With a 4.0 GPA as a management major and a minor in marketing, this young woman also held internships at Bank of America, with the New York City Department of Education, and Morningside Evaluations. She volunteered for the events planning firm Wise & Company. She is a member of the Duns Scotus Honor Society, the Alpha Lambda Delta Freshman Honor Society, as well as Sigma Beta Delta, the International Honor Society for Business Management and Administration. If that wasn't enough, she was also a resident advisor at the dorms. She served as a math tutor in the Academic Enhancement Center and belonged to several clubs, including the IT Club, Entrepreneurship, Investment, International Students, and the Troopers. Honestly, I'm just tired of reading this list. A lot of accomplishments. It is my pleasure to welcome one of your own now, the Winter 2018 Valedictorian, Kejsi Shkreta.
Hello, class of 2018. President Martina Saenz, members of the faculty and administration, fellow graduates, alumni, family, and friends. Thank you for joining us on these pivotal milestones in our lives. I don't have the honor of always knowing about the people that have helped me in life, but I do appreciate the opportunities I've been granted and enjoy the chance to let them know me and the impact they have had on my life. I must confess, this wasn't my first commencement speech for this event. The first time I tried preparing this after days of exhaustive work, I stood back and read my words and found myself utterly disappointed. Despite my great effort, I found that I was unable to convey who I am and what I wanted to share with you today. Living in New York this last few years can have an interesting effect on one's heart. It's a tough city, and it's no cliche to say that if you can't make it, you might break it. One can often become so hardened on the exterior, it can be very challenging to share the fire that we keep inside. For lack of better words, my time here in New York has made me more Vulcan. And you can imagine how difficult it is to share what you feel after living like that a few years. I wanted to give you a speech today full of soul and utter sincerity. I don't expect to win your hearts with humor or a clever use of phrases, but perhaps I can be a beacon for you, an inspiration of knowing what one can achieve when they immerse every fiber of themselves into doing so. I realized that to possibly achieve this, one must start by thinking well of oneself, then express it. But you do not do so in a loud voice, but rather through great achievement. One must live with the attitude and faith that the world can be on your side, but you have to be your true self. Today is one of those days in which the world has your back. You have accomplished the remarkable and socially acceptable feat of graduation. Today, we celebrate this great achievement in the class of 2018. Congratulations. Like many of you, I come from a very modest upbringing. I was also very aware of the opportunities denied to my parents in their youth and inspired to live differently. Even as early as the age of 5, growing up in Albania, I knew I wanted more and that I had a very modern way of looking at the world. And that is around the age I fell in love with American film and knew where I wanted to be. Both my hard-working parents supported my dreams of going to school in America since I was a little girl. But going to America in itself was no easy task. One does not have guidance in my country to direct you in how to even find such opportunities. I kept my grades high and grew with a singular focus to succeed. In high school, I was granted my opportunity to go to school in New York. And even today, I clearly remember my parents, 2 eagles, trying to keep their little one from flying off their nest high up on the cliff. For in their opinion, had I chosen to stay in Albania, I would have had delightful commodities such as owning an apartment or working on TV. But choosing to come here meant to start from zero. Of course, I took the zero, and in 2 months after that, I was here. Alone in cold Tarrytown, New York, I arrived with hopes of seeing things that told me I wasn't here. However, there were no skyscrapers or tall statues welcoming the humbled masses. Those first 6 months were especially challenging and lonely. My brain ached for days with the mass information I was absorbing both academically and culturally. In many ways, my parents were braver than I was for letting me embark on such a journey. And I will always be thankful for their support. But as the dust settled, I knew that I did not find my school. I felt I belonged elsewhere. I wanted to be near those skyscrapers, to be immersed in a cultural melting pot, but to also be part of something that respected tradition and carried an air of respect. And in my search, I found St. Francis. I visited one day for open house and I was mesmerized by the warm welcome of the staff and new and exciting things I heard for the first time, such as the resident advisor program and numerous clubs. Yeah, we didn't have those in Albania. I told my parents that is where I wanted to be. Upon entering college, a lot of us have experienced some serious financial challenges. Although the economy has been trying to heal since the end of 2018, many of us are still seeing our parents lose their jobs or accept drastically lower wages, friends forcibly leave school, and may ourselves have doubted whether we could also afford to make it. At the end of my freshman year, I faced the fear that I wasn't going to be able to afford my tuition any longer. The expenses in the US were way beyond my parents' means, and I was constantly being reminded on the phone that I needed to find a different way. Recently, I was asked by a friend what the defining moment of my college experience was. I paused for a second, gathered my thoughts, and responded. If not for opportunities like the Ginna Donnelly Scholarship, I don't think I would have been able to get as far as I have. I want to emphasize how one does not go so far alone in life. This wasn't just a full scholarship that gave me certainty that my studies would not be interrupted. Ginna Donnelly have granted me much more than I would ever hope for as a stranger in this place. They offered me kindness that extended to having a second family to spend time with during the holidays alone, wisdom and guidance. Although my life didn't end there. Shortly after, I got accepted in the RA program. My parents were especially excited about the idea that one day I could be an RA and have my living expenses covered, but also not having to take the train. You can all imagine now the screaming from the other side of the phone when I told my parents I got the job. For this, I'm very thankful to Dean Rodriguez, Steve Bocelli, and Ruben Gonzalez, who believed that I had what it takes to help my fellow students and made me feel at home at the residence hall. It was a wonderful experience going through all that CPR training and waking up at 3 in the morning each time my duty phone would ring. I have been wonderfully immersed in cultures and backgrounds so different than my own because of my experiences at St. Francis. This institution has provided us a place to foster our intelligence and better manage the outside world. There were ample opportunities for extracurricular activities too. I got to join and lead many different clubs and groups and enjoyed especially being an ambassador. Despite my work at school, I also kept myself busy with work outside. I had a chance to join wonderful internships, volunteer programs, and jobs. And I continue these relationships even today. I wanted to be a sponge for experiences, taking in everything life has to offer. As a student of life, I also recommend the same for all of you. So once you find your momentum, you need to keep going with it. Try to not forget, we are the sum of all our experiences. Everything you do and choose not to do leads to what you will be tomorrow. And at this occasion, we are sharing the wonderful opportunity to celebrate how we have enriched ourselves through our accomplishments up to today. I'm very happy for us all, but don't rest easy. I hope that we continue grinding forward, filling our lives with valuable moments, every day becoming more than the day we were before. I invite you to take charge of your own destiny. It was best said by Oprah Winfrey. I was never the kind of woman who liked to get in the car and just go for a ride. I wanted to be in the driver's seat of my own life. I wanted to know where I'm going, where is my destination. You must have a vision in your life. You have to have a direction in which you choose to go. I didn't simply want to graduate in the US. I needed this. But life isn't there to cater us simply for the things we need. We need to work hard, maintain our vision, and yes, also be a little lucky. Now, I know that moments like this are an opportunity to be inspirational. In 1959, John F. Kennedy popularized the following anecdote. When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of 2 characters. One represents danger and the other represents opportunity. The phrase has been used for a call to action, optimism, and to seize the day. And that is what this whole experience is about. For many of us, it is a complete challenge and transformation of ourselves. For many of us, we find out who we really are as we are tested beyond the shelter of our old lives. As a person who has spent their college experience without their family in a foreign land, I'm very familiar with the challenges of isolation. Many of you may have found yourselves spending holidays and birthdays alone and being so far away from friends and family who only grow older with each passing year. I have spent a long time apart from the things family, and wonderful character-building experiences. Some of these wonderful people that make up St. Francis do require a special thanks. I would like to mention a few of them if I can. To Dr. Peter Gomori, who has been a faculty member here for more than 25 years, I have enjoyed the ideas and experience that he has shared through our lessons in business over the years. He is a wonderful teacher and an inspiration to future entrepreneurs. To Thomas Flood and Catherine O'Hagan for not only encouraging me at all times, but also pushing me to do better. To my speech professor, Dr. Augusta Palmer, thank you for giving me A's when I chose the most controversial topics for my persuasive speech. To Dr. Esther Klein for encouraging me to have an iron will and a strong work ethic, not only at work or school, but also in my personal life. To Dr. Dennis Anderson and the Management and IT Department for their support and choosing me for the Stanley Willing Award. To Naomi Kinley and the staff in the Career Center for ceaselessly striving to expose students to opportunities and network them with amazing internship programs. She is one of the most selfless people I've had the honor to meet during my time here. And finally, a message to my parents. Thank you for believing in me. All of these people I mentioned embody the Franciscan mission to meet academic excellence, spiritual and moral values, social responsibility, and lifelong learning. Through their examples over the years, I will always embrace this and remain determined and diligent. Please join me in thanking them and many others I haven't mentioned who also embody these principles. Along with the driven desire to succeed, I hope all of you will use these gifts provided by wonderful people like this to push your education further and reach your greater ambitions. All of my journey is far from over. I'm happy to have the opportunity to directly thank the SFC alumni for their generosity and time. Without their altruism, students like me would be greatly strained to fully realize their dreams. I will not forget what your contribution and this school have done for me. The above story is all true. They might have started as a dream, but as we see today, when we make our dreams a reality, reality becomes a dream. Thank you, God, my wonderful parents, and once more, congratulations.
Thank you, Kejsi. And now, finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. It is time to present the members of the class of 2018. Marjorie T. Coelho. Marina Cazzo. Christopher Dodd. Narissa Henry Benjamin. John Robert Bowman, recipient of the Reverend Michael A. Carnaro Class of 1966 Scholarship. Carolyn J. Misius. Letitia McLean. Christy Marie Piscatelli. Stephanie N. Sheeran. Demi Speranza, magna cum laude. Elpita Ballas, cum laude. Luis Enrique Velez. Shahryar M. Akbar. Jake Dylan Busutil. Erica N. Calandra, diploma presented by her brother Nicholas, class of 2015. Joe Pascual Cepeda, magna cum laude. Darren Timothy Aldred Chump. Julio Silas. John Marco Chalky, summa cum laude. Federico Gaston Corbello. Brittany Nicole Daniels. Alan Derisovich. Nylasia Imani Drew. Tanisha Equam. Giuseppe Caraccio. Teresa M. Fitzgerald. Alexander Gaddis. Stephanie Nico Antonio Jenkins. Brendan E. Keja. John Terrence Keene. Taha H. Kawada. And Rita Alana Kasoon. Joseph J. Laporta. Amanda M. Lawrence, magna cum laude, honors program scholar. Joseph E. Licata. Christina Mamalini. Monica Kathy Michalowski. Rosalind Amaka Obana. Damaris Pena, cum laude. Salvatore Prano. Marlena M. Reed, recipient of the presented by her mom, Pauline Patterson Reed, class of 1972. Abad Rios. Nicolette Antonia Rowland. Jessica Sartini. Ruby Sejour. Ashley Shields. Kejsi Shkreta, summa cum laude, member of the Dunswood Honor Society, recipient of the Jean, class of 1979, and Ginna Donnelly Scholarship, diploma presented by her scholarship benefactors, Jean and Ginna Donnelly. Vincent Bassaturo. Sister Maria Yu Vu, magna cum laude. Wendell Wilkins. Graduating with Bachelor of Science and Master of Science, Enza Maria Agliano. Scholarship. Jacqueline Marie Brennan. Miguel A. Medrano, magna cum laude, diploma presented by his brother Manuel, class of 2016. Marco Chauvet, magna cum laude. Joseph Ursino, diploma presented by his aunts Maria Carmela Pira Camastro, class of 1988. Graduating with a Master of Science, Supala Kinkau. Hongli Zhang, recipient of the Deloitte William D. Perry Accounting Master Scholarship. Chairman John Tully, President Miguel Martinez Sanz, I present to you the winter graduates of 2018 from St. Francis College. Graduates, just take a look around. Look at your parents. They're standing ovation for you. You can't see them, but look at them. They're standing up. Your friends and family back there. As a symbol that you have passed through this stage in life and are now ready to face new challenges, I ask that all of the graduates move their tassels from the right to the left. It is now my privilege to introduce the President of the St. Francis College Alumni Board of Directors, Patrick Dugan, class of 2001.
Thank you and good evening. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, President Martinez Sanz, and the Alumni Association's Board of Directors, let me be the first to welcome you into the St. Francis College Alumni Association. When you first entered the halls of the college, whether it was at open house or on your first day of class, you were welcomed with a smile and open arms. From that moment, you became part of our family. During your time with us, you attended class, studied, created new friendships, or solidified existing ones, but were also instilled with our core principles: a strong faith in Catholic education, hard work, and giving back to the community. You've been charged today to go take that gift of a college education and go out into the world and be the best in whatever path you choose to follow, to continue to be a responsible member of society. Your role as a member of the St. Francis family continues now as an alumni, a very important part of the continued growth and success of our institution. It is our job to support the college in any way, to keep the tradition going, to be active and to give back so that future students can have the same, if not better, experiences that we've all had. Do not forget about us. Just because you leave us here today with a degree does not mean you leave our family. Come back and visit us from time to time. There'll always be someone here with a smile and open arms. In fact, you will be receiving an invitation from the Office of Alumni Relations soon to attend a special reception which will be celebrating your achievements. Please be on the lookout for it, and congratulations again to the class of 2018.
Thank you, Patrick. We will now conclude with the benediction by Brother Gregory Cellini, Career Advisor in the college's Career Development Office. Following the benediction, Ms. Ricci will lead us in the singing of our alma mater. The lyrics to the alma mater are located in the back of your commencement program. After the singing of the alma mater, the graduates, faculty, and stage party will recess to the back of the church. Once again, congratulations to you all, and thank you all for coming. Brother Gregory.
Thank you, Dr. Jennifer. Let us kindly bow our heads in prayer, remembering we are always in the presence of our loving Creator. Great and gracious God, we thank you for today bestowing your infinite blessings upon this class of 2018. During their time at the college, these graduates have received much good, academically, athletically, socially, and just as important, in the form of Franciscan values. As each graduate begins the next stage of the journey to which you have called them, guide them to see all the good they have inside themselves, and to share this good with the world in significant need. May each one always have the courage, the conviction, and the vulnerability to live from their heart, as did our founder, St. Francis, and his greatest follower, St. Clare. For all the learnings, successes, joys, accomplishments, and even the bruises these graduates have experienced the last few years, we say thank you. For whatever you have planned in the future for each member of the class of 2018, we simply say yes. Amen.
Please stand for the singing of our alma mater.